Hello, Ssega.
Hi, Sophie.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Sophie. Hi,
Welcome.
Hi, Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Welcome to our inspirational, I hope, conversation on music, climate, and creativity. Firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to you both for what you do. It's just really rare and very warming to come across two people so dedicated and purpose driven within their creativity and service of the planet. So thank you. I'd like to pass the floor quite quickly over to you. So please introduce yourself and tell us about what's inspired you from around the world, kind of exploring how creativity and music can be a vessel for change. Ssega?
Yes, I'll go first then. Yeah, hi, I'm Love Ssega. That's my artist name, and I'm a musician fundamentally, and also an artist, just because we shouldn't be, with this conversation, I feel we shouldn't be inhibited and put into a box. So I'm an artist, and then I'm also a person. So I think in terms of the creativity and in terms of what I do, I think as a musician, the people I've always been drawn to are the people who are saying something which is different. And I think at this point in time, especially when you look with coronavirus, where we were stuck, literally stuck, we couldn't be distracted, you start to reflect and say, okay, what's really important around here and what are the issues we need to look at? And climate is one of the things which is pressing on my mind. And then I feel fortunate as a creative person to be able to do something and say something in a way which, if I was, say, an accountant, it might be a bit more difficult to do it. So obviously. And then the other thing I'd say is I think it's fantastic different organizations. When you just look around and you start to see different restaurants and you can see they're offering different things. And even with the shops where they're trying to change certain things bit by bit, it's the same with culture as well. So the exciting thing is working with exciting people, working with exciting organizations. And if you can see a shift moving towards being more climate positive and climate conscious and climate active, then I think that's important. And having grown up in London, but loving rap from the US in different forms and different guises, whether it's Tribe Called Quest, whether it's De La Soul, all different people, they were all talking about something that was pressing to them at that time. And for me, in music, you got to do the same. So it's the climate crisis, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my name's Nick, and Nick Mulvey, and I'm a songwriter, musician. And yeah, like, you know, as an artist, I'm always looking to explore the truth. I was thinking the other day about telling the truth, and it's like, there's obviously the sense of telling the truth, but then there's like there's also like, can you tell something is to weigh it? Can you tell what color that is? Can you measure? Can you examine, explore? Can you tell the truth is to kind of speak it, yeah, as best I can, but also to explore it and to measure it, weigh it, kind of. So I find that all my great heroes over the years, all great artists, kind of do that. I feel that naturally in this day and age takes us into the conversation about, you know, being in the world, and that just leads us straight into the climate question and all the justice questions and all the ways in which we're growing painfully, gloriously right now.
So actually, I've got a creative question to Nick. When you travel and you get to collaborate with different people, because in a way you might think, okay, we're going forward and now we need to start addressing climate, but then you realize a lot of indigenous groups have been talking about this for so long, and it's linked into their culture. And so for myself, I was musician in residence China, in southwest of China there. And then when you hear some practices, so it's learning through music and their culture. It's sort of an experience and like an escapade. So is that something that you found because when I listen to your music, you take inspiration from different places and stuff. Is that something, another journey for you as well, which is quite intriguing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, like in our lifetimes, we can take all those journeys from our own living rooms with all the culture that we can access from different times and geographies. But I have also, and that's always been a part of my listening, been very open and broad in my listening, but then also in in traveling as well, I'm just learning like how to speak about this and being careful not to speak for other people. I definitely know that like as a Northern European, like within our own history, it was not that long ago. I mean, it was 200, 300 years ago. Like if you wanted to sail your boat, you had to have the wind in your sails. If you wanted to have a factory, you had to put it by the river, because the river would turn the wheels of your factory. So up until this very recent period of human history, everything every day reminded us of our interrelationship with the elemental forces in the natural world, and also therefore like our dependency on it, and therefore our kind of position within the scheme of things. And I think that then naturally sort of informed everything. People, when they live in that way, now, like indigenous peoples still, or like everyone once upon a time, you would know naturally our place in the scheme of things. We would just know it all the time, and so that would inform all the music we'd make or the work we'd do.
Actually, that's a great point, because even like my mum's in Uganda, and over there, people still grow their own vegetables. And when you buy the vegetables, it would be from a local area. So you know what's in season and what's not in season. And one of the big things over in East Africa is rainy season being unpredictable and big storms and stuff. So they see it in the day to day. And I think even like growing up here, I'm pretty sure when you go to the supermarket, you could only get strawberries in summer. I think it's only the big supermarkets now where that's changed. So at least we were aware of, okay, winter, there's the root vegetables, there's swedes and parsnips. So yeah, like you're saying, all these different things, it might not actually be that long ago where we had that connection. So yeah.
Amazing. It's so true. It's like it's not in such a long ago past that we knew how to live with the lands, and now with the current climate that we're in, not just the climate crisis, but the climate of the political situation, we're so far away from it. And yet in this time of transformation, we really do need to see structural, systemic and political change. So as an artist, do you see a role in art leading the way in helping make this change that we so drastically need?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely do. I think on just so many levels, like on the transmission and dissemination of information, and the way that art and creativity can disseminate information, but also allow that information to land and have an impact and go very deeply. And the combination of melodies and information, or rhythms, or the way music works, is this package. And then from that, helping us to feel, right? Like we need to feel, and we need to feel this current moment, in letting our hearts break, perhaps, or for sure, and also feel like a lot of the wonder of being alive in this moment. So I think,
yeah, I love that, the wonder, because again, it's that positivity in something. So I think that's another part which I'm trying to figure out creatively. What's the best way to bring positivity to the situation? And myself as a lyricist, and I do wonder, like, Nick, do you try and think, okay, how can I pick this word? How can I pick this word and write a song about it and then put it on my album? Because I was fortunate to watch you up in COP26, and you got a new song. Is it on your new album that's coming out? And I was like, I cannot believe you've written a song with this title.
What was that? Are you thinking about the word Anthropocene?
Yeah. And I was like, this guy, he's done it.
yeah, I was pleased with that. I don't think I would have done it if I had thought about it and tried to do it and worked too hard at it, because it probably would have been complicated enough.
Yeah.
But it just kind of happened. I had the melody for a long time. What does your freedom mean? And then the other half came in the Anthropocene.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's one of those moments, because I think that's the other thing. When you think about where we are now, everyone can go on streaming services and listen to any song, pretty much any song that's been created in history. Anyone can go and watch any film that's been made. So it is a challenge as a creative person now. What are you saying which is different? And you do have to, what things haven't been tackled, you know, and what hasn't been shown and what hasn't been seen. And it's not to say, I'm not saying myself, I'm going to do anything that's original, but I think it is original me talking about it in this time. So at least people in 5 years' time can say, oh, this is how they view these things. Oh, they were backwards, but at least they were viewing it in this way. Because half the time, it's not saying that we've got the answers to all of this stuff. It's just saying, look, this is how a person, a view in a place is looking at it. And then also it's a marker, because then we can see what people in Indonesia, how they're looking at things as well through art and music and outside and culture, outside of politics. And then we can contrast and say, oh, let's learn from that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah. I'd never thought of that like we have all of that recorded music available to us, you know, so like we don't, there's less need to repeat certain styles, or, you know, yeah, it puts into more relief what are you bringing that's new to the table.
Yeah.
It's like you're writing history, essentially, or hopefully rewriting extinction. On a final note, just a quick one, I'd like to ask you both what you feel optimistic about in these times of transformation, particularly as musicians.
Go for it, Ssega.
Okay, what do I feel optimistic about? I think I'm optimistic about the position that I'm in now, and because some of these songs and some of the things I've been doing them for a few years, and then now people are looking more. So I don't necessarily think I've changed anything fundamentally, but it shows that there's an interest in what I'm kind of doing, which again, I'm not approaching it from a commercial view. I'm not approaching it from a bog standard view. I'm just trying to do something which I think is interesting and might help other people. So I think that's the optimistic thing. And then seeing the reaction, hopefully, if other people who are creative can just look and say, oh, this guy's managing to do these amazing or these interesting things and has not been shot down by let's say the right-wing press or all these negative things, and it seems like he's happy, he's not really that stressed about it, then hopefully it can give more confidence to other people who in other situations might not have the flexibility or the freedom and stuff, and they might have hang-ups. Just look, and it's like, I look kind of happy and I get to do stuff like this, so give it a chance. And because we need more voices, we don't just need my voice, we need more voices from across the world in different parts, and that's what we need. And art shouldn't just be commercialized, you know. It has a role. I think it does have a role.
Right, a return of purpose into art, and into it becoming normalized to really stand for something, and like, yeah, that gives me a lot of optimism for sure. And I find like optimism in like how some solutions, or how simple some of the big solutions are, or at least they seem, and like I think like, you know, it's those ideas that are simple are often because they utilize kind of life self-organizing, you know, deep drive to self-organize and to achieve harmony. I know we've come a long way from it, and we're living in a lot of these systems which seem are chaotic, and we live with disharmony. But also, I suppose, essentially put, I'm optimistic because life fundamentally seeks harmony, and so I kind of, that gives me faith, I think.
Great. It's almost like the public opinion and the dial on climate change has changed so much that you now, as a musician, feel supported to be even titled a climate musician, whereas 10 years ago you would run away from that as being a title. Thank you both so much. You have been an inspiration, as hoped.
Pleasure.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. Yeah, thanks, Sophie.